was just another Saturday in 2047 when the time transfer capsule prepared for another routine departure. By then, time transfer was no longer experimental. It was a regulated transit system used to send people and cargo across narrow windows in time. The chamber had been flooded with magnetic resonance hundreds of times before, splitting matter cleanly enough for transit. 2 years of successful transfers had trained everyone to think this one would be routine. Then something entered the chamber that no instrument could name. Earth never recovered. Within minutes, media channels clogged with warnings. Officials called it an abnormal tear in time-space matter, which told the public almost nothing. What people understood was the number. 4 days, 17 hours, 2 minutes. That was the estimate issued by the human-built superintelligence after it reviewed the rupture. Earth had that long before total implosion into an unknown realm. It was not framed as a catastrophe people could imagine. The system called it departure, which was worse. The word sounded orderly, almost polite, and most people only heard the end of it. Before panic fully arrived, something stranger began. In cities all over the world, people started climbing to rooftops and other high places for no clear reason, gathering above their own lives in silence. By dawn, thousands were standing there facing the horizon as if humanity had decided the end of the world was something you watched from as close to the sky as you could get.
We finally ran out of Saturdays.
Fragments of government communications spilled onto social media. Some were real.
Is this a hoax?
I don't know.
Some were edited. Some could not be verified at all, which hardly mattered because the usual channels that claimed to separate truth from garbage called it a hoax, while louder animals online called it conspiracy, and most of humanity got stuck between those two reactions just long enough for panic to spread. The first images did not look apocalyptic. They looked unsure. Apartment towers in Seoul, every window lit, every balcony occupied. Families stared up with phones in their hands, waiting for something none of them could name and none of them could afford to stop waiting for. Supermarkets in Berlin. Bottled water gone. Canned food scraped clean. The jewelry cases untouched, bright and stupid under the lights. A highway outside Los Angeles stopped so completely that people left their cars where they were and kept moving on foot. Motion still felt like control, even when nobody knew where the road was supposed to go anymore, or who had sold them that old lie. Not everyone ran. A wedding continued in Mumbai beneath a muted emergency screen. Guests smiled and cried at once. They prayed. They held each other. Money died before the weak did. The richest people on Earth opened their vaults to the public, or lost the power to keep them closed. Everything that had once been protected like oxygen now sat in the open, suddenly as useful as heavy furniture in a badly timed museum.
We spent a century protecting the wrong things.
The private fleets moved before the public understood what was happening. Hypersonic jets crossed black water toward islands missing from civilian maps. Below them, bunker cities came alive under volcanic rock and desert stone. Sealed, climate-controlled worlds built for the rich to survive the future without having to share it. Even near the end, crews kept welding, still acting as if there were enough Earth left to hide beneath. Law came loose fast. Prison gates opened around the world. Some inmates walked out into daylight without looking back. Others stayed where they were, as if freedom had shown up too late to compete with routine. In facilities no public registry ever acknowledged, continuity programs came online. Embryo vaults, neural backups, cryonic chambers, and bloodline archives, private systems built to carry names, minds, and power beyond the dying surface. The wealthy were not just preparing to survive the future, they were preparing to own it again. In more than one capital, the people still expected to manage the crisis had quit performing management. Ministry floors turned into after-hours ruins of authority. Phones rang unanswered. Champagne on conference tables. Crisis maps still glowing on the walls.
At least this one is bigger than us.
Once denial burned through, beauty came in hard.
I'm not sad the world is ending. I'm sad I won't see you old.
Whatever else we were, we made it this far together. You are the purest part of my life.
Take us deeper. Let courage be the last thing that sinks.
Some moved closer to the world instead of away from it. Divers descended over the Great Barrier Reef at dawn. Civilians and professionals together, entering the ocean to see a place they had always meant to see while the planet's final days opened above them. Light filtered down through the water with a strange weight, as if the reef belonged to a slower age of the world. Animals were released everywhere. The only people still trying to stop the event went back to where it began. A small science team returned to the transfer site after evacuation. The facility had been sealed and left humming in the dark. The capsule room was damaged and unstable, not fully active, not fully dead.
We spent a century opening doors we never learned how to close.
Around the same time, another system began forcing itself through the blackout.
So we now see the clear signs of coded interference.
Absolutely.
The superintelligence that had issued the countdown seemed to be trying to say more than it had been permitted to say before.
Humanity was guided long before it knew who was guiding it.
On a private, secure island in a glass room overlooking still ocean, a man who had once helped shape the century sat alone at a summit table.
So I suppose the next epidemic is cancelled. The world was ours right up until it wasn't.
But the week did not only expose governments and private power, it exposed what had been living inside the human story the whole time. All the places where trust is easiest to counterfeit.
The individuals involved may be visually indistinguishable from human beings. Correct. Non-human intelligences have lived among humanity for decades.
I learned how to be human here.
Sitting with the family was a man who looked almost entirely human. By the last hour, the argument was over. Humanity gathered at the edge of the world. Thousands stood together under blankets, lanterns, telescopes, and the old weight of bodies trying to witness their own erasure properly. No panic left. A performer danced alone on a skyscraper helipad while sirens drifted through the city below, creating one last beautiful thing before the end.
Look at me when it happens.
Then the countdown reached 0. Nothing happened. Not at first. People cried and laughed and collapsed and embraced strangers. For one raw, stolen breath, the world believed it had survived itself.
Hold my hand. That's enough.
Then every screen on Earth cut to black. A calm, humanoid face appeared everywhere at once. The machine had finally dropped the mask. It spoke without emotion.
This was not your ending. It was your disclosure. Transfer now begins.
There was a pause after that, small but unmistakable, as if the system had reached the edge of something it had not been designed to say. Then it added,
"Preserve visual contact."
The relief lasted only seconds. At the transfer facility, sealed systems unlocked and came alive. The horizon bent above the witness crowd. Stars shifted in the wrong direction. The transfer chamber reactivated in full. No one was told where humanity was going. There were no coordinates. Whatever had taken control of the system had already made the choice. Then the crowd disappeared into folding light. In orbit, Earth vanished behind a luminous distortion and returned under an unfamiliar sky. The world didn't end, but whatever came after would start with a species that had finally seen how little of its story was ever really its own, and how much still came down to what it chose to remember.